Hey, welcome to your Puncty Bite for this first week of October. Hard to believe the time is passing so quickly, and we have the practical coming up. So today is a bit of a big week for us, and I hope that you all had an awesome weekend and you're ready to dive in again and get going. I had a really awesome run this morning. I went to the Raywas and ran through the fall colors, so I'm feeling pretty jazzed about things. I thought I'd kick things off this week because it is our bacteriophage lecture on Tuesday. So I thought I would talk just a little bit about some of the new info out there about the use of bacteriophage therapy in the United States. And as many of you know, bacteriophage therapy has been long popular in other countries, but the United States has been very slow to adopt that technology. And so I thought you might be interested in this fairly recent article. It was September 23rd, I guess, really recent, that Procter and Gamble is now partnering with the primary bacteriophage I guess, company called Introlytics, and they have essentially worked out a deal. Introlytics has now gone through the FDA and gotten full approval for bacteriophage use in food prevention of growth in foods. So, right here in June 2011, Introlytics finally got regulatory clearance from both the FDA and the United States Department of Agriculture to use its phage-based EcoShield food safety product, effective against E. coli 0157H7, to be used on red meat intended for grinding. So, we won't get into the reason there is E. coli 0157H7 in red meat. That's my soapbox. Ask me if you like. But it is interesting that we're maybe seeing that start of adoption of some of the bacteriophage therapy. Okay, great. Let's begin by looking at the schedule and talking a little bit about the busyness that is to come. And that is, not only do we have to look forward to Lab 12 with the bacteriophage, but also Lab 13, Fungus Among Us. Lab 12 is a fairly straightforward lecture and a fun one. Lab 13 is very lecture intensive, and I know some of you are going to take that one on. Please make sure to let me know early in the week if there's anything I can help with as you study for those few of you who might take on Lecture 13. The open lab this week is to be manned by Marielle and Sarah, so I'll look forward to seeing you on Friday. I have to leave early this Friday, so I will be taking off at about 1 o'clock. So just so you're aware that John will probably be there in the latter half of that open lab. Now, that being said, notice that next Tuesday, the 11th, is practical exam number 1. So this means that we have to get the practical ready. So I would like for everyone to email me with the questions that they want on the practical by Thursday. So the 6th, Lab 13 day, if you could go ahead and email me with the questions that you would like for the practical. And remember, there will be 2 versions. There'll be a morning version, and that will be Kelsey and Leslie. And Chelsea, you're going to be working on that version. And then the latter version of the day will be Marielle and Sarah and Richard and Craig. So we'll just need 2 versions so you can agree upon the questions that you would like to use and get those questions to me by Thursday. I will set up for the practical exam on Monday afternoon from 1 to 4 or in that window. So please let me know if that's a time that works for you and you might be able to come help just a little bit with the practical exam setup. That would be absolutely fantastic. Looking ahead, just a few things as far as midterm grades being due and the lecture exam number 2. So I will be looking for graders for lecture exam number 2, and I'll be trying to get that written probably this coming weekend and getting that out to all of you that maybe have had some interest in helping me with grading in the past. Marvelous, exciting stuff. Let's go ahead and talk just a little bit about Labs 12 and 13. There's not a huge amount to say about the TA guidelines for either one of these, except for that there's some good background information for those of you giving the lectures. I'd definitely say take advantage of the guidelines this week because there are some extra things in there. As far as the follow-up from Lab 10, on Tuesday during lab, I will be spending a lot of time taking groups back, and I'll probably try to take 3 or 4 groups at a time back to look at their transformation plates. We have a new light box that accommodates more plates at a time, so we're stoked about that. A definite perk of doing that summer program that John and I did this summer. So we will be able to take a few more groups back at a time to talk about their transformation. So what that does mean, though, is that you will need to be ready to help the students with the bacteriophage experiment and be ready to help them figure out, what to do with that overlay technique and where to find the overlay auger and all of the techniques that are behind taking the plugs out of the plaques and what have you. So just an FYI on that. And then finally, Lab 13. We'll bring that guideline over here. Mostly these are just, as I said, helpful things for those of you who will be giving the lecture. So if you are working on that, and I know some of you have already mentioned to me that you're studying for the lecture already, which is fantastic, and I'm excited for that. This is a very lecture-intensive lab, and I reassigned this lab on purpose to be that way because I don't think it's fair to give the students a lot of lab-based additions at this point right before the practical exam. I want them to be able to focus a little bit on the study. So the goal was to have something that would get them excited about fungus, but that would not be horribly lab-intensive right before they take the practical. Okie dokie. I think that pretty well wraps up our week to come. And again, please let me know please send the questions that you have chosen for the practical by Thursday, and then let me know if you can come and help set up the practical on next Monday. That being said, have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and I can't wait to see you on Tuesday.